I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mary Beth?
Councilwoman Chapman? Here. Councilman Cookingham?
Here.
Councilman Deegan is absent. Councilman Reifenberg?
Here.
Supervisor Albrecht?
Here.
Town Attorney Emily Swenson?
Here.
All present.
I just want to reiterate something that I have been putting forth before every meeting lately. Personnel matters, whether it be committee people, whatever, will not be addressed or discussed in public forums, as these topics are not appropriate for open discussion. The other thing is that we truly appreciate everybody wanting to give us feedback, but you really need to speak to the town board as a whole. So we would, positive or negative, we would like you to email all of us. All of our emails are online. I'd like a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There are no public hearings. I'd like a motion for the acceptance of the minutes from the workshop meeting of 7/7/25.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tonight, all official correspondence is on file in the town clerk's office. And tonight, we have a presentation from our beautification committee. Just push the button, Megan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, please bear with me. We did test this out.
Lauren, could you turn the lights off for me, please? Thank you.
Okay, we did it. Yay. All right. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Megan Borland. I'm a small business owner here in Pleasant Valley, a resident and now chair of the Town Beautification Committee. Thanks for the opportunity to present tonight. We are here to share 4 of the priorities of that the committee has identified so far, and to ask for the town's board's feedback and support as we work to enhance Pleasant Valley. Our committee was formed on April 21st, the day before Earth Day, which is kind of nice, with 7 directives. First, identify and advise the town board on areas in need of improvement. Second, develop and propose beautification projects. Third, organize town cleanup events and encourage resident participation. Fourth, collaborate with local businesses to enhance storefront appearances and streetscape features. Fifth, seek funding and grants to support beautification initiatives for town board consideration. 6, promote environmental sustainability through tree planting, waste reduction, and recycling programs. And finally, engage the community through awareness campaigns and volunteer opportunities. Since April, we've had several meetings, and we've discussed everything from flower planters and benches in the 3 hamlets to improved parks and landscaping, better signage, and ideas for supporting local businesses with their storefronts. We even explored whether maybe new architectural standards could help keep our town consistently beautiful. But at some point, we had to stop talking so that we could get to work. So last month, we sent the board members an 11-point list that we were discussing along with our minutes. We do have a website that people can check out that is within the town of Pleasant Valley website. So there's a town beautification committee website where you can find the agendas, the minutes, and that 11-point priority list if you're interested in looking at that. So we sent you that list, and then tonight we're going to present 4 of those ideas. Some of these ideas we think are quick wins, things that we believe can make a difference right away, and others will take more time, but we can they can set us on a path toward lasting improvements. Our goal is not just to present these ideas tonight, but to hear from you, both the town board and the public, about which you'd like us to move forward with now. This beautification idea is one that so many people are supportive of. And a surprising number of people have come out and wanted to be a part of making that happen. We already have people who are interested in participating in cleanup events and coming to our meetings to see what kind of work we're doing. So that's why I included this quote in our presentation. Plant the seeds of beautiful ideas and water them with belief. So this is, though, a group effort, so enough of me talking. I'd like to briefly introduce the team members who have shaped this vision and then pass along the microphone. Our town liaison is Councilman Scott Cookingham. I also have here with us Lily Johnson. She's a Pleasant Valley resident and landscape designer who owns her own business. She's going to present our ideas for enhancing the town welcome signs. Christine Fontana, owner of P&E Designs. She will speak about rebranding and improved signage for the town. And Lauren Sidoti, a longtime resident, is working with us, as well as Judy Bowles, who couldn't be here tonight. They are going to spearhead, if it's approved, an Adopt a Month program to work with civic groups, which I will present. With that, let's move on. I'm going to pass the mic to Lily so she can show you her beautiful work.
Sure, thank you. Okay, I'll push the button. Hi, my name's Lily Johnson, and I'm happy to just share a brief design put together. As a resident here, I think there are many opportunities we can have over time to beautify, enhance, but most importantly, increase visibility of our signage of our town and businesses and groups. And this is just one example of what it could look like to enhance the Pleasant Valley Rotary sign. I could speak briefly to the intention behind the design. I wanted to do what in landscaping we call more of a matrix grid planting. The goal here is to create something that has many levels and is multi-tiered. It is seasonally, has lots to offer throughout the different seasons, spring, summer, winter, fall, and ultimately becomes something that can really look out after itself after a few years. By doing the matrix grid planting, you are really packing in a lot of punch in a certain area, trying to diminish the need for things like mulch and weeding and tedious upkeep, and instead trying to reflect a lot of the natural beauty we see happening along our Wappinger Creek side here, things that are native and are growing on their own and are offering a lot to the biodiversity around us. And so that's what you see here in terms of the plant selection. I have some things you would be familiar with if you were to just walk along the creek, and things that have been here for decades before we have, maybe even hundreds of years. So I have some, just to point out some things, I have some Monarda here, some bee balm in its flashy redness to attract the eye and to attract those hummingbirds and those butterflies. I have a red twig dogwood that has beautiful blossoms and foliage all summer, but also has some really gorgeous winter structure as well. A red striking skeleton that will stand out amongst the snow. So all of this can be punctuated by making a really firm and visible fieldstone border. I would love to source that if possible from Al from Pleasant Valley Stone. It's one way to ensure that whoever's upkeeping the lawn in those particular areas does not accidentally mow over the beauty unseen. But also part of the genius I thought of this design was that we could actually dig down about 3 feet with the intention there to let the heights not ever take over the visibility of the signage on the bottom, but also to be a bit of a water basin, a dry water basin, to catch some of the rain, to keep it there. A lot of these plants, since they are creekside adapted, they want a little bit of more of a moist environment. So that's one very budgetary friendly and frankly future thinking strategy we could employ to reduce the need for bringing on a big water tank there every week and let Mother Nature really develop on her own. So, oh yeah, and they're all deer resistant because we love our our neighbors that like to come and deadhead things for us for free. So yeah, that's a little bit of an idea there.
And just to note, we did, this is the gateway sign near Arnoff in Pleasant Valley. It is very well, as you saw in this photo, it's the one on the far right, the western gateway sign. So it's already pretty well mowed and maintained, and we spoke with the Rotary. They love the design, and they're interested in seeing enhancements. So that's a nice partnership with a local organization. All right, our next idea would be adopt a month. We'd like to engage community groups and businesses in caring for our town. It's a win-win. It builds civic pride and involvement and improves our town. We do already have our Town Beautification Committee website with contact information that we thought we could use to solicit tips from around town about areas in need of cleanup. These tips would feed into a to-do list, or I keep calling it a honey-do list, which we would share with volunteers or groundskeeping as appropriate. We would want to create a smooth registration process modeling after the very successful Town Earth Day month cleanup program. So we would use the same model where we would partner with Boy Scout troops, Cub Scout troops, Girl Scouts, the Pleasant Valley PTA, American Legion, Rotary, Pleasant Valley Lions Club, anyone who would want to really partner with the town, fill out the waiver to be able to do a cleanup, and then we would say, here are the priorities of things that we'd like to see clean up. And then Lily had this fabulous idea about reporting our progress, creating a map with push pins on all the areas of town that our cleanups improved so everyone could really see the progress happening. And now I'm going to pass it over to Christine to present about rebranding and signage.
Good evening, everyone. So one of the considerations that was brought up during our meetings was sort of giving the town an identity. We just feel like now that perhaps our town needs to have some sort of rebranding and some sort of identity so that it is no longer just a drive-through town, but some place that people say, wow, this is really nice. And we feel like something that could honor the past, but also look to the future. So we were thinking perhaps that we would look at signage, maybe some of the park signs. We would also maybe create a logo that's updated, not necessarily taking away everything that the town has now, but maybe enhancing it and bringing it into the future. And we were thinking that a way of maybe being able to do this, bring this town into the future, would be to do that through some grants. And we are aware of the Hudson River Greenway grant program, which does open in September. So we were thinking if that's something that sounds appropriate for the town, we could begin work on that application. So we would want to be engaging a graphic designer. We want to engage our community partners as well. And we want to create some of the signs for Katie Field, maybe Bower Park, possibly the bridge, which is an entry or exit to the town.
All right, and then this is just our last recommendation. So we're going to talk about something called the Pro Housing Community Certification. This certification is a New York State certification that the town can apply for, and it is a pathway to Main Street improvement funding and infrastructure grants needed for downtown revitalization. I mentioned before that we had talked about a number of things in our committee meetings. We've made a pretty long to-do list, but many of those things would require funding. So if we wanted, one of the priorities our committee identified was Main Street, and there's a lot of potential there. Planter boxes, benches, lighting, building facade improvements, architectural design, right? Our resolution creating our committee mentions doing murals, and all those things require funds. And when we looked around and researched what funds were available, many of those funds are in programs like the New York Main Street Program, the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, and the Mid-Hudson Momentum Fund. And these funds are only available to certified communities, and it's called the Pro Housing Certification. So here are some examples of grants that have been awarded to other communities. I kind of looked through the awards for grants that would reflect something similar to what our beautification committee might in the long run look to apply for. So the Village of Nelliston assisted with the redevelopment of properties to mitigate existing blight. So that's kind of that storefront improvement initiative. The Village of Caledonia got $20,000 for building redevelopment and streetscape enhancements. The Village of Saranac Lake got $19,000 for sidewalks, lighting, signage, landscaping, public art, and street furniture. Ticonderoga got $20,000 to create design guidelines to enhance the historic character of the town. And then I just listed one kind of bigger example just to show the potential, but the Village of Angola partnered with a lot of businesses in the downtown business district to improve the environment in the downtown. So those are some examples. If we had the Pro Housing certification, that we could apply for those kinds of grants. Again, so these are New York Forward is a fund that invigorates and enlivens downtowns in New York's smaller and rural communities, which really, this one sounds just like Pleasant Valley, the type of downtowns found in villages, hamlets, and other small neighborhood-scale municipal centers. The New York Main Street Program is a comprehensive grant program that provides funding for local revitalization efforts and technical assistance to help communities build the capacity required to grow the neighborhood retail district. So that's more of like a planning grant if we were gonna take some time to look at what kind of revitalization efforts our businesses wanted. And then the Mid-Hudson Momentum, which is really not necessarily within the purview of the beautification committee, but still accessible once the town has this certification, funding infrastructure for communities to support growth. In order to get this certification, there are a couple of hurdles to overcome. One of the hurdles is that the zoning department would need to complete templates with zoning information to submit to New York State. The state does have webinars online about how to complete the templates, as well as a support staff who helps the zoning department. It's essentially uploading, the town's zoning information in a format that is readable and lines up with what the state needs. The planning department would pull permit data showing 0.33% housing growth in the last year, or 1% growth in the last 3 years. And then if they didn't meet that criteria, if our permit data didn't meet that criteria, it would require that the town board pass a resolution that says the town wants to seek the pro-housing community certification. All right, and then just questions and next steps. You know, we're happy to answer any questions and hear the town board's feedback as well as public feedback. We scheduled our next meeting for a month from now, but we're happy to kind of start working on any of these initiatives that the town board wants us to move forward with, or continue discussion or do more research or answer questions on any of the other initiatives. And then if anyone out there wants to get involved, you can check out our website on the town board website or contact me at meganmurphyborland@gmail.com. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. That was very nice. Thank you.
Are we having
Yeah.
discussions now, or do we want to have a discussion item on the agenda?
That's up to you. You know, I just wanted to also just, with going around doing this stuff with thanks, I just, you know, Bob Beckman and Ed Hackett, they're keeping the Salt Point sign, you know, up to date. And then I talked to Bob Beckman, that actually those signs were designed by him, and that was from Helen Aldridge funding way back when Mrs. Feminella was in charge of doing stuff there. So, and then, you know, same thing with Joe Kirchhoff, keeping it up to, you know, date in front of his, you know, residence. So the whole thing of keeping some of the signs up to par, like, you know, Megan stated, you know, is a huge thing. It's just keeping them all, you know, mowed and cleaned and, you know, looking nice.
Do we want to have a discussion now, or do you want to have it later?
I mean, they're here.
Okay. I'll just,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, I'll
No,
entertain.
not at all.
I just
we
wanna
all have little kids, so we'd
It'd be
love
nice
to
to
do
get
it
out of
now.
here. So first off, I just want to thank all of you guys for pulling this all together over the last 4 meetings, and it's just amazing to see something go from paper to this. It's nice to see another committee. You know, you have Climate Smart in the town that's doing amazing things. We have this committee now. It's nice to see people getting involved and bringing different ideas. So thank you to you guys. I just wanted to ask, just back to the pro-housing community, you had 3 sections there. One was the zoning department having to fill out information. Then you had to meet the 0.33% last year or 1% over the last 3 years, or the town board doing a resolution. Is it the zoning department has to fill out that, and then one of the other 2 items? Is that what it is?
Yes, so the
Okay.
zoning department does need to do the information. I think part of the thrust of the state having this certification process is that it wants to collect zoning data statewide so that it can look at trends in zoning data and best practices and make recommendations about that. So this is their hook to get towns to submit that data.
And the pro-housing community, from what I gather, is if you're in that program, it opens up all the grant money to do a lot of the other things that you're talking about.
Correct. And the 3 that I pulled out, the 3 grant programs, are the ones that are apropos to the beautification committee. There are additional programs that are part of that certification as well.
Okay. And I think I caught from the slide that if we gave the zoning department 2 months to get all that stuff together, it'll still give you ample time to apply for grants that are coming up in September and open for a period of time?
Yeah, I think if we concurrently, you know, if we knew that the zoning department was working on it, and then, you know, at our next meeting, we could start making the plan and come back to the board for an approval on the thing that we wanted to apply for, right? Because I think there's one more step there that our committee would need to then, in the next month, decide what is it that we want to apply for that September and then come back to the board for approval for that before we actually applied, because we wouldn't, right, just make up something to apply for a grant for. So, and then it would be a bit of, you know, playing chess to have the town board also be prepared to do that resolution if we didn't meet the requirement for housing growth. The town board only has to pass a resolution if we don't have 0.33% growth. That resolution, however, though, is it says in the FAQs, it's in the spirit of, it mentions, you know, talking about New York State's, you know, housing issues and that the town is supportive of this, that, and the other, but it is, it's in the spirit of, it doesn't require the town to additionally pass any legislation. It's just saying we're a pro-housing certified town.
Lily, were you able to just get an idea what it was gonna cost to do a round per sign? I know you were busy this past week. I was just curious if you were able to, like, give an idea, just cost-wise.
Ooh, yeah, off the top of my head, I'm gonna ballpark it somewhere in the 10,000 to 15,000
Okay.
department. And I was spreading that out over the course of 3 years, so that does include 2 years following for maintenance. And I think that's really assuming that you're paying the best of the best in the industry to do the job at
Right.
cost. I think there are many people, myself included, who are residents who have many talents to contribute, that if we need to leverage some sort of volunteer bases, donation bases, or maybe even sponsorship,
Correct.
that could be leveraged. But in the perspective of, you know, looking at grant work, et cetera,
Right.
we should be generous and estimate somewhere in the 10 to 15K ballpark.
Okay.
And just to mention with some of the grants, like the grant program that Christine is looking at for rebranding potentially, some of those are in kind. So if the town, you can do through volunteer hours or through donations or through, you know, budgeted town funds, you get a match from the state for whatever those, or the grant from whatever those funds are.
Do we need like an actual vote to say, hey, can we allow them to give the information to zoning to start filling it out and see where we stand?
No, I don't. I
Okay.
think you could just ask to go ahead. I do, having done the pro-housing community before, I think it's a good practice for the board to do a resolution even if we do meet the criteria, just so that it's coming from the town board, the decision to apply for that. But it doesn't have to be anything fancy. I just think that's a good practice.
It's already pre-written from the state, so.
I mean, that's the official resolution.
Oh, okay.
But even if, right, sorry.
We have to do a resolution to be able to go ahead with it.
Yeah, I think even if we do meet the growth percentage, I think it's just a good practice for the board to decide
adopt
that the
that.
town is applying for that program, either way. It's not, doesn't have to be a big deal, though, just, you know, no
Yeah.
public hearing or anything, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like a motion to open the public comment portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3 minutes per person for one-time only agenda items.
Gary Veter, South Point Turnpike, Pleasant Valley. Got a number of things, seeing we have millions of dollars on the agenda. I see with the tennis court, there are some items I don't understand. expecting the answer, but I'll give them out. You're renting a stump grinder rental, and you could probably do that in a shorter time. They're gonna do it in 2 days. An excavator would just dig it up and get rid of it. That's one. They're buying ground protection insulation mats for $14,000. And they're purchased for the job, not rented. Who owns them when they're done? I noticed the appointment of a construction manager for the town hall, who happened to be a former councilman, and left that position and then was subsequently appointed to this. I just hope that was in accordance to the New York ethics law and the Pleasant Valley ethics law at the time of that important appointment. I thank the Beautification Committee for their work so far. Having done that 50 years ago, I hope it comes to fruition. I think that covers it. I would like to thank, for the first time in the 62 years I've lived here, I had to call the ambulance. Our local ambulance came. And the only problem I had wasn't with our local, it was our volunteer ambulance. But I got bills from the one we pay already. And that just doesn't make sense to me. You get bills from, I forgot the name of that company, but they send the bill to somebody that needed an emergency ambulance with no question. Could have not made it to this meeting without it. So,
If you'd like to, would you like to?
Just as to
Excuse
the-
me 1 second.
Oh, I'm
Emily's
sorry.
going to address something with the ambulance.
So I just wanted to clarify that the way the contract with the ambulance works is that we pay a supplemental fee for them to be on call, but they still have the ability to bill for their services, which gets typically sent to insurance, and there's a whole process if anyone is unable to pay, but they are allowed to bill for their services.
Thank you, Emily. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Kathy Kruger, 37 Rawls Road. I wanted to thank Megan because she's kept us in contact for the last month or two, letting us know what the plans were and then sending us pictures and so forth, and I thought that was very nice and respectful of her. That's a sign that we put up, the new signs up and put up the population, because Hank Schott didn't want to be responsible for the population of Pleasant Valley anymore, so we changed that signage. Thanks to Councilman Cookingham for, a little bird told me that he weed whacked in front of the sign. I usually do that every year, wasn't able to do that so far this year, so thank you for that. And then I wanted to thank Jen for asking the Rotary back for Pleasant Valley Weekend. We're looking forward to it because, of course, the funds we make help things like putting the sign up in Pleasant Valley and so forth. You know, it's interesting. Have the same kind of questions. I don't know. Gary and I didn't get together on this, but I do have a couple of questions along the same lines as the topic he did, and I hope you can answer them. Was wondering why the ethics law changed in December of 2024. Was wondering how this board could hire a former town councilman for $580,000 on a no-bid contract to act as construction manager for the new town hall. That's roughly 10% of the estimated cost of this project.
Excuse me.
Are you speaking to an item that's on the agenda?
Building is on the agenda.
Okay, well, there was not a no-bid contract, so I'm not sure,
Well, my understanding that there was no bid, that this wasn't put out to bid,
Okay,
is what
this
my
was-
understanding was.
that decision was made like almost, what, 7 or 8 months ago? So I'm not sure why it's coming up now, but we could certainly talk about the process that the board went through, and it's completely above board.
Well, that,
It's
I would-
also, it's also not on the agenda, so I'm not really sure why it's coming up.
Yeah.
There's nothing about the construction manager, but if you go back and I'll send it to you, the resolution that was passed, it actually names the specific companies that we actually did reach out to and speak to get actually bids. So if you want,
and were those bids publicized?
yeah,
At the
and I've
meeting.
spoke at many meetings that nobody actually even responded or wanted to bid on the project. So, I mean, everything was very transparent. So if you want, you can leave me your contact stuff and I'll forward you all the information.
Yeah, that would
But
be.
it's not on the agenda. I just want to make it very clear that you can wait till the end, but nothing on the agenda has to do with the construction manager.
The construction manager. I just was wondering if this was not a conflict of interest to oversee the construction of
Ma'am,
plans of specs
I'm sorry,
you
we cannot
developed.
go on with this.
So at the
Do
end,
you
I
have,
can ask
do you have
those
another
questions.
question?
I'll ask those questions at the end then. Thank you, since
Okay.
you don't want to answer them now.
Anybody else like to speak? Not seeing anyone. I'd like a motion to close the public portion comment of the meeting.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, on to new business discussion. Unexpectedly, we have Chief John Cronk here tonight. On October 13, 24, 22:35, the Pleasant Valley Fire District was dispatched simultaneously for mutual aid with the East Clinton Fire Department for a house fire with a report of people trapped at 320 Clinton Hollow Road. All first responders were heroes that day, but two especially recognized for their extraordinary courage. Our own Chief, John Cronk, and Lieutenant Eddie C. were both honored as Firefighters of the Year for Dutchess County this year. They are also being honored by FASFA, it's FASFA, correct? FASNY, I'm sorry, which is a New York State organization, and they have also gotten their top honor this year, which hasn't happened yet. It happens in August. The poem that Mary Beth is going to read, that she also wrote from a letter that she received from somebody explaining the scene, is a tribute to their courageous actions. Sure, absolutely.
It makes me nervous.
No pressure. No.
Listen, I'm gonna cry, but I'll cry up front, okay?
Oh, now you're gonna make me cry. Okay. This poem is called "When the Flames Rise, So Do the Heroes." On a Sunday in October, late last year, the fall air cool, the sky not quite clear. Clouds hung low, the breeze was light and small, so calm it seemed, no warning, none at all. A house stood near, trees so tall, along a road both lone and wide. No soul could know what danger lies ahead, no sign, no sound, no warning's drum, but something dark was bound to come. But then it came so fierce, so bright, a heat-born flame that it lit the night. In the color of orange, it leaped and spread before a word of warning said. It moved so fast, no soul could flee, no time for cries or pleas to be. The siren wailed, but all too late, no one saw this fiery fate. The danger hid, then boldly bled, a silent storm that struck with dread. They rushed into the home, swift, brave, and true. No thought for themselves, just did what they had to do. Johnny and Eddie, with courage untamed, did what was needed, just as they were trained. Donning their bunker gear, so heavy and tight, through smoke-filled halls, they braved the fight. No thought for themselves, no fear or dread. They found the victim where danger led. Back in the bedroom, far from the door, they brought the victim to safety and then went in for more. Johnny and Eddie rushed through the door, climbing fast to the second floor. Each step they took, the air grew thin as worsening danger crept within. With brave firefighter heroes near, Eddie searched with all his gear. He found the victims, weak and low, in a smoky room where flames did grow. He grabbed them fast with strength and care, while Johnny met them on the stair. Together then, without delay, they exited the fiery fray. Through smoke and heat, they made their way. No one knows just why they start these trials that test the human heart. But heroes rise, both brave and true, firefighters, police, and responders too. With every skill and every breath, they fought to hold the line from death. Together strong, they gave their all, so others might survive the call. It's vital that we give their due to heroes brave and ever true. They live by words both firm and strong. We do not stop when things go wrong. We do not rest when we are tired. We press ahead, fully inspired. We stop not when the day is won. We only stop when we are done. They rush where others turn away to save the lost, to light the way. Through flame and fear, they still emerge. God bless the thin line of courage. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to Supervisor Albrecht and your staff, and of course this wonderful woman.
We need to thank you for that night.
Thank you. I'm not a hero,
I know that. I know you feel that way.
but thank you for your unwavering support for the fire district and all of my members. We couldn't do it without your support. And you,
Mary Beth wrote that. When she got done writing it, it really blew me away. I was really, yeah. She has a real special talent. She really does. Thank you. We probably should have saved it to the end, you're right. Okay. Where are we? Okay. 12B, short-term rentals and ADU application process / procedure. Councilman Cookingham.
So I emailed, or actually Mary Beth helped me because I was down here doing some other things there, just some questions on STRs that Courtney and Chris Ann had with the application and stuff. So I was wondering if myself and like Mrs. Bomba, Mrs. Seaman, Courtney and Chris Ann can draft up like an actual Town of Poughkeepsie one or that, and then go over it with Emily and Warren just so we can get it in effect. So then that way the application doesn't have questions or that. So that's what I'm basically just, curious if I can do that, with the board's approval. So.
Were these questions asked before we adopted the law, or are these new?
This is what they had questions, Courtney, Chris Ann, Fumo, and Pat. These were things that they.
Now?
Now. So, that's why I just want to have it so when somebody
Like
goes in there, it's easy.
80% of these are in the law, so. I also, I don't think you were on the board, but I actually made up permit applications from another town with the town of Pleasant Valley. I don't know if it was sent to the supervisor at the time. It's not going to match this, but there is also already a basic thing. I'll dig on my computer.
Okay, yeah, then that
to
way
send
we
it
could
to
just
you,
get it and then
you can edit it and whatever.
edit and then just go through the board and then just have Emily and Warren just sign off so it can get there. Okay.
I went through your list of questions and wrote which sections to
Okay,
look
yeah,
at, so I
perfect.
can give that to you if that
Oh,
helps.
thank you. Okay. Not the ADU one, and that was some of the questions between. Now, why we're just stating that now, the ADU, because that was a question when I was over there today, if I say do an ADU, that was for, when we came up, that was for, you know, your son or daughter or your parents and that, and you redid your garage and spent, say, $10,000. After, say, they passed or the others were able to move out and stuff, now, can you make that a STR?
You can.
Right.
Yeah,
We just have to go through the process of it.
Right,
Because
so-
I would still be living on site. Right, okay.
so the ADUs are really part of the zoning code.
Correct.
And I don't know if it needs a separate application. I think it would be a building permit application, so it
Okay.
would just be like any other building permit application.
Okay.
But the STR program should have a separate.
Right, SDR, I figured they're
application,
both
yes.
separate. Okay.
So just to remind everybody that STRs, there's a maximum of 25.
25.
So if they're, if they're put on a list, then unless somebody opts out of it, they
They're,
can't.
they're on the waiting
right.
list, correct. That's why I
Just
just
so
want to
they
get this
know
done,
that-
so
Just
those
so you know that
25
that
are
won't
good.
automatically happen if you do that.
And the law says that within 90 days, there's a 90-day grace period to apply, so we really should get that application ready.
Done.
And this board should set the fee for the application. So maybe
For
we
the
could get
right,
a
well,
recommendation
right through
from-
everybody,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So the fee for the SDRs and then also ADUs.
Well, the ADUs would just be the same as the building, I think it'd be the same as a building permit
Okay.
fee. We could talk about that, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, 12C, property maintenance law, and our attorney Emily is going to speak on this.
Sure, so I understand there are a couple of issues, properties with garbage or junk in the yard that are just difficult to deal with. And so, keeping junk in the yard is already illegal under the town's refuse law, but the penalty is only fines, which means that we can go to court, but we can't actually get the stuff cleaned up. So the proposal that we wanted to discuss with the board is to adopt a property maintenance law. And I have an example here from Hyde Park, but they're used in other places. And a property maintenance law would give the town the option, after they have notice and a hearing and an opportunity to clean up the trash, if it doesn't get cleaned up, then the town could go in and clean it up and charge it to the property owner's tax bill. Again, that would only happen after they got notice, they had a chance to clean it up, came to the town board, had a public hearing, so it wouldn't, just happen without all of that process. I have the Town of Hyde Park's law here. It basically defines what is debris, garbage, rubbish, and says that if there's an issue, the building inspector would make an inspection, report to the town board, then the town board would set the public hearing, et cetera, and then if it needs to be cleaned up by a contractor, then the cost would be assessed against the property on the tax bill. It's fairly similar to what we did here with the grass maintenance law, just for those few, places where we just can't get them cleaned up otherwise. It's not something that has been, used often, but it is a tool that's helpful when you need it. So that's the proposal.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Emily?
Nope.
You don't? No? Okay. So we will move on.
So would you like me
I'm
to
sorry.
prepare that for
Yes,
the
I
next
would-
meeting?
I
Okay.
would, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like you to do that.
Okay.
Are you all in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the next thing on our agenda, I had already decided to pull today because I hadn't heard from anybody, so sadly, I have had to pull that. Old business discussion. Katie basketball court installation change order update, and Councilman Deegan via Zoom is on with us.
Can you hear me?
Can you guys hear or no?
Not really.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now we can.
Now we can.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So the reason we're doing this, I just want to confirm, everybody can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So, first off, just want to thank the board for letting me do this. The reason for this is I got pulled out of town unexpectedly for work. So I'm in Columbus, Ohio right now, which if anybody's ever been here, it's actually a really nice city. But rather than postponing this for another 2 weeks to go over this change order, or rather than coming back and doing a special meeting, which I don't really like the look of that. So just want to do this now. Supervisor Albrecht can speak to this as well, but being that I've had more of these conversations, I wanted to be able to support this. I do think for the town council advised that I be on camera, and then when this is done, I will drop off so it's clear that I'm not part of the meeting or voting on this. Do I have that right, Emily?
Well, honey? What did Dan say?
He had to like get off the thing. So
Can you repeat that? Because they couldn't hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that once I'm done speaking about this, I think I'm going to drop off so that I'm not in the meeting and definitely not there when the voting happens. I think that was guidance from Warren.
Yeah, they said
Okay.
as long as you don't participate.
Got it. Okay, so this, I mean, frankly, this is more for the public than the board. I didn't get any questions unless there are any. I'm happy to answer it. But this is really just to call out the change order for the Katy basketball court. I do, Mr. Veeder, you got some great questions there, and I think this is a good format here where you come up, you ask questions, and then I'm presenting and I can answer your questions. So I plan to, and I appreciate the question. The point of this is just to clarify the change order, and really the goal here is hopefully the board is okay with this. And then we move forward with passing this resolution tonight so we can get this project started, back started. A little bit of history for anybody who hasn't seen this, right? We started the basketball court in March. We were on schedule. We were ahead of schedule. The design was for where the old tennis court was on the left. The design was to encapsulate the well, which we had thought was retired. The design that we had and the awarded contract that we had was for that design. The day that we were there to retire that well, we found out that the well was not in fact retired and was actually active. And through this process, it's actually good. It has nothing to do with the basketball court, but we were able to update. First of all, we had to update the well itself. It was probably on the way of failing, but there was a lack of paperwork both in town hall and with the county. So that's all up to date now. So in some regards, it was kind of good that it happened because it made us get up to snuff on things that probably should have been years ago. But when that happened, that completely changed the project that NatureWorks, the awarded contractor, bid on. And we ended up having to redesign it. So the downside, besides the fact that we do have a change order, which nobody wants, the downside is we lost 3 months. We lost 3 months and a week on this project. So the goal here, and the reason why I wanted to push for this tonight, and I think Supervisor Albrecht, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but we want to get this thing going. And that's why I'm doing this tonight. Because we just want to get this approved and get this thing built, which was the whole point. So just to walk down a couple of the items. So what we had to do when we had to redesign it, there was a bunch of things that happened. For starters, we had to he's going to have to redo work that he already did, right? So he had done a trench. Essentially what happened is the basketball court is now going to move further back into the woods. What's good about that, yes, there's an added cost and we lost time. I'm actually happy with that because I felt like we were safe, but we were infringing on the softball field. Now that we're going back further, so I'm not worried at all about foul balls or someone running into a low retaining wall. It wasn't a concern before, but now it's even safer. But because of that, we have to move back into the woods. By moving back into the woods, we have to do stump grinding. So the question on the rental of the equipment, we actually looked into that. And just to be clear, we hired MJ Engineering to be the expert on this. So I don't want anybody to think that I made this decision or Supervisor Albrecht made this decision. We hired a trusted professional to vet out this project, to vet out the bid, and to vet out this change order. So we looked into the actual stump grinding. One, there was more stump grinding than we had expected. They need to do 4 instead of 1. But the rental equipment was actually the most efficient way to do that. The other call out, if anyone's looking at this, because frankly, I had a bit of a reaction to it originally, just keep in mind, this is municipal work. So this is all prevailing wage rates, right? So we have to move the basketball court back into the woods. We had to undo and redo some work that was already done. They have to do a walkway to make this ADA compliant. Obviously, we want everybody to be able to access this, whether it's players or spectators. So the concrete walkway that we had to put in, we had a plan for it before, but this is larger now. There's more work that went into it. There's more lawn installation now because of this. And then the other big one was just the full depth asphalt installation. The asphalt size went up. Specifically on the ground protection, that's a great question. I hadn't actually thought about that, but frankly, we're paying for this, so we're gonna keep those mats. Those are ours. And I think we should save those because who knows when we might need mats to protect a field or whatever, whenever we have events, Pleasant Valley Day, so we will absolutely reuse those. While that's a cost, what I would like to remind everyone, actually, I don't even know if this was public yet because we weren't happy with the numbers. The first change order that we got was $109,000. And in our view, that was unacceptable. We didn't like the format of it. We definitely didn't like the value of it. So we were able to get that change order reduced by 22%, primarily by asking for line items, clarification on hours, the details of the work, but also that mat protection, which that seems high, that's a third of the price that we were getting charged to put in a so-called road, right? Because we moved this basketball court, access roads that were in the design before were now null and void. They couldn't actually get the equipment up into that area. So they had to come in a separate way and they had to provide a road and then they were gonna have to remove the road. So we felt that that was egregious. We asked for a redesign. That's actually where the mats came from. So I know nobody likes the number of 13.5, but that was actually an improvement. And that's how we were able to get, that's a big part of how we were able to get the change order price from $109,000 down to 85. There is also a credit. So there was some work that we no longer need. The retaining wall got a little bit smaller. We saved some money on fencing. So there's a credit of $7,000. So the ultimate change order comes out to, what's that, $78,000? So the total price is $355. That said, I know I went through that fast. Internally, there were some numbers done by our engineer in terms of if they were gonna put this out to bid, what the price would come in at. And this was within a couple $1,000s. So on the level, it's more than our original price. It's still below, what other, some of the other bids that were out there. So we feel that it's fair, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I hope that answered your questions, Mr. Veeder, and that's really what I wanted to present now, and I'm hoping when this gets to voting for the resolution, we can pass it.
All right, hold on, I'll see if anybody has any questions. Hold on, do you have any questions?
No.
Let me see if, do you have any questions, or does Emily have any questions?
Emily might. No, I don't. No.
But I just want to make one comment about this project, is that our bidding in general, when we got all of the bids in for this project, we are still, with this change, we're still $100,000 less than what it would have been for the next bid, for the very next one. So and Dan worked very, very hard on this. He did a really, really wonderful job and really got them to come down. We weren't happy. And the engineer knew it, the place knew it, they came down, they've been very good to deal with. We're satisfied and we're happy with what they've done. And I think we'll be happy moving forward with them also. Thank you, Dan.
So I think we have a resolution a little later on the agenda to
Yes.
approve that.
Do you have anything else, Dan, that you want to say before I hang up on you?
No, I mean, the only thing I would be remiss if I didn't throw out, so, and I can't see you on screen, Councilwoman Chapman, but you're down below to my left here, where my face is. But, so our original completion date was June 30th. We lost 3 months and a week. You know the math I'm doing.
Oh.
Right, so we are gonna push as hard as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Miracles could happen. I think the numbers we've been given are safe, but we're gonna have to really push. What I can tell you though is we're well aware of the event that we have And the site needs to be buttoned up to the point where we can be proud of what we show the town. We might not be completely done. Keep in mind, we're also going to be into weather where we start getting into the same thing we ran into playgrounds with the weather and making sure, we want to make sure we don't rush and screw this thing up. We do it the right way. But at the very least, we're going to have something that is presentable to the public. It might not be completely done yet, but we're well aware of the date, and we are going to be riding these folks pretty hard to see as far as we can get done by the time that date comes around.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, thank you. I'm going to move you over and disconnect, okay?
Yeah, I think I'm dropping off now. I think I'm saying that publicly. I'm off the meeting. Bye.
Okay. 13B, new town hall update and change orders. Councilman Reifenberg. This is quite the list tonight here for this.
All right, so like every week, a lot's going on up there. I got some updated pictures. I'm going to keep it a little shorter than last time with the videos. Let me just see if I can get this over
Would you
here.
like the lights down?
No, you don't have to turn the lights
Okay.
down. All right, so I've been talking about the staircase up the right-hand side of the new town hall. That comes from the back parking lot down to the front one. You can see that that's all been formed and poured. You can also see that they now have the door, the emergency exit door, removed, the brick for the meeting room there. It's a better picture of it. Sorry, I can't see what the next pictures are. So, the front sidewalk has been formed out. It's ready to be poured with concrete. Last week or the week prior, I think I was saying they were working on the rear sidewalks, which I have pictures of. That's done. You can see I wish I had a pointer, but on the first floor there, the storefronts have been taken out. The new windows have been put in. You can see one of the new windows on the second floor on the top left. That was to see if the size fit perfectly. I think they're planning on starting to do the other windows soon. The front entryway is in. Thanks to the board for allowing the lighting company to come in. You can see it's installed on the very top there. The clock face is on order. That will go in, and then you'll have some signage down on the bottom there. That's the sidewalk formed out towards the court side of things. The windows are in place there, which has kind of opened up that whole hallway. It's a close-up of that. So that white band, it's kind of an off-white, but that was, if you remember, the old building had a canopy that came down across the whole front, an overhang. So when that was removed, it was always planned that there would be cinder block behind there. We had to do something with that. So that's stucco and paint to coordinate with the rest of the colors on the building. You can see it at the bottom of the storefronts as well there. I will point out here too, actually, let me go back one more. In between those windows, actually I think it's in front of the windows. Either way, there's going to be concrete planters that go in the front there as well, and some benches so people can sit out front. We needed some kind of barrier for the court so people couldn't drive through. There's also going to be bollards that are poured. You can't really see them in this, but they form those up as well. This is the side, so there's going to be a parking area for court for sheriffs and state troopers to be able to go into court. So this is forming out all the sidewalk there. The transfer switch that I said was, that we ended up sending back because it was damaged, that basically if the power fails, the transfer switch automatically transfers the electrical load to the generator and that kicks on. We received it damaged, it was sent back. I guess we had the only one in the entire country. They couldn't find another one, but they tested it. It was all cosmetic outside stuff, so they rebuilt the outside. It's now being shipped back, so it's on its way. The generator gets delivered, I believe, this Saturday. So the transfer switch actually goes up against the wall in a separate pad off to the right there. This is the main entrance. It's all boarded up still, though. So I just wanted to show the hallway in front of the court area there. So it's all nice and bright now with the windows in. Before it was all boarded up 2 weeks ago. This is the stairs coming down the one side of the building. All right, so these are the sidewalks they were pouring last meeting we had. They're all poured now, all the forms are off. You can see they're starting to build the main entrance to the office space on the second floor. It's all gonna be timber Adirondack type styling for that. It's gonna look a lot different than that. That's just the bare bones there. Handicap accessible ramp that goes into the main entryway. The entry all the way down towards the end is employee entries, the employee entrance. And that's all I have for pictures. There are change orders on the agenda for tonight. I guess that's frozen on there, but sorry. There's change orders on the agenda tonight. If you see though, there's a lot of change orders. For the general contractor, even with all of them going up and down, we end up decreasing the total contract costs. And for the electrical contractor, it's a credit and it's a decrease of, let's just call it 2,000 as well. So neither one of these resolutions increase the budget. There will be some change orders coming along that will increase the budget. But again, when we did the budget for the project, we have a substantial amount set aside for change orders that we thankfully haven't had to tap into yet. Does anybody want me to go change order through change order, or have you guys looked them over? Because I'd rather not. Okay, perfect. That's all I have. Any questions? No? Okay, thank you guys.
No, except that it looks so much nicer with those windows.
Yeah, it's all open now.
It's just so different.
Yeah.
Looks great. Thank you.
Oh, and one
Go
quick update. So I just want to thank Dave Talbot as well. He's been spending time with me, figuring out all of this to there. And we got a quote from a company. We don't know if I could bring it to the board. We think it's kind of overpriced of what we're probably trying to do. So I'm working with him to kind of figure out, is there a way to maybe use some of this equipment and get newer equipment and save some money. But I'll probably have an update, either a resolution or some decision for the board at the next meeting. So thank him
Okay.
for volunteering and helping.
Thank you. Okay, on to the resolutions. I'd like a motion for Resolution 623 of 2025, approving change orders for general contractor for the new town hall project.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like a motion for 624 of 2025, approving change order for electrical contractor for the new town hall project.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like a motion for 625 of 2025, authorizing payment of abstract number 7 of 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like a motion for 626 of 2025, amending the 2025 general fund budget for the insurance recovery for damage to the mill site sign.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we still have the fencing to do on this also, which has been ordered. I'd like a resolution for we already have a resolution. Resolution number 627 of 2025, I'd like a motion for amending the 2025 general fund budget for planning escrow.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, I'd like a motion for Resolution 628, amending the 2025 general fund budget.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like a motion for Resolution 629 of 2025, authorizing payment of abstract number 7P of 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like a motion for Resolution 630 of 2025, a resolution approving change order for Katie Field basketball court installation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like a motion for Resolution 631 of 2025, amending Resolution 606 of 25, appointment of 2025 Town of Pleasant Valley Summer Camp new teaming staff.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like a motion for 633 of 2025, a resolution authorizing sponsorship program for Pleasant Valley Weekend.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And now,
I'll make a motion to
yeah, thank
allow
you.
6:34/2025 on the agenda.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to make a, no, actually, this is for, I'd like to change the town board meeting for special consideration from August 18th, 2025 to August 20th, 2025.
So moved. You have a resolution for 6:34, so I'm making the motion on that.
Second.
No, 634 is
Oh,
for,
yeah.
sorry.
gotcha. Yeah, I
Sorry.
make a motion to
We just
change
did
the
it.
date, sorry.
Yeah,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so I need a motion to allow 15B, Resolution 634, accepting the vendor application to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I'd like a motion to accept 63425, accepting the vendor application for the 2025 Pleasant Valley Weekend event.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And 15C is going to be pulled. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to open the public comment portion of the business for any business.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I just
Oh,
speak
sure.
first?
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to point out, because I know there were some questions earlier about the contract for the construction manager. Do you mind if I just speak to
No,
that
that's
briefly? So I just wanted to let everyone know, if you want to review the minutes from the December 6th, 2024 meeting, there was a long discussion and a resolution appointing JDAR to be the construction manager for the town hall project. There had been an RFP put out. Both Councilman Reifenberg and Deegan solicited a lot of different companies and thought they might get some applications, but no one came through with an application except for JDAR, Mr. Yappuccino's firm. This was after he was no longer on the town board that his firm was appointed, and it's all spelled out in the December 6th, 2024 meeting minutes, which are on the town website. Yep.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So I just want to make sure I understand. I don't know if you can answer the question, but, oh yes, Megan Borland, 26 Oxford Road. For the purposes of beautification committee, you know, I'm just wondering what the timeline would be for us to figure out which items the board would want us to move forward with. And then, just so I can inform the committee members of, you know, what we should do, would it be at the next meeting that we would find out, and then we could kind of prioritize our work?
The next meeting is 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
So is that going to give everybody enough time to do what has to be done? Because, you know, as long as we know, like, by Thursday, to get a resolution on the agenda for it,
Well, and
there
I
shouldn't be
guess,
a problem.
Do we need a resolution for the board, or I don't really know what the procedure
we
would
did,
be
right?
for the board to say, you know, we like the direction that you're going, you should continue with 1, 2, 3, and 4, or we like 1 and 3, continue with 1 and 3, we want to talk more about 2 and 4.
Okay, I see
You know,
what you're
which
saying.
things do you guys want us to pursue so that we can keep the ball rolling, and know that we're doing it with the confidence that these are items that the board wants us to do?
Yeah, I think if you want to,
Okay.
you know, actually undertake a project or spend any money, that's something we'd want to vote
Right.
on. But as far as just giving some general feedback on what
Yeah.
you could do that.
We don't need a resolution for that.
Okay.
We just need a resolution for the whole grant situation when
Okay.
you're moving forward with the grant. We need
So
to do a resolution.
would am I understanding correctly that you guys like the direction and that we should keep going with the 4 items?
Right.
And then come back to you then with the grant
Right.
proposal? And then, the town will direct the zoning department then to work on the pro-housing certification part? Or you want us to send them
Well-
the template so that they can start working on it?
Yeah, if
Okay.
you want the planning and zoning office to start working on that template,
Right.
yes, that needs to be sent to them.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I did send it to them. I will reiterate to them
Okay.
that the board wants that to be done, and then.
You send exactly what they need to do on that, right?
Yeah, and
As
I'll
far
send
as,
them
like,
the
site to
email
get it?
address and like
Okay.
for the state and the webinars that they can go watch how to fill it out. Because I know they did, when I initially emailed them and they said, how much work is this? I was hoping they were gonna go, this is easy, but nothing's easy, right?
No. Most of
so,
these grants
yeah.
are not easy.
Right.
Gene Curley can tell you that.
Yeah, so they did say, like, we don't even have some of this information, which that would be something they could interface with the state, and the state would say, you don't need it, or give them.
And you need that in by 2 months from now?
If it's feasible for them to do that in about 8 weeks, then I think we'd have a chance to apply for a fall round of grants.
Do we,
Otherwise, we're looking at the July grants. And then the Hudson Greenways grant is in October. So that's another one that that would be, Christine would head that up, and I would probably work on the housing community certification grant. So we can look at both of those and come back to the board before we do any application process.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
If I can help, let me know. We did this in another town where I work.
Oh,
in
awesome.
Town of Poughkeepsie, so if there were a resource,
Yeah,
I'm
they
sure
got,
they'd be
and they
happy
got
to-
a lot of money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And I don't think you need the pro-housing for the Greenway grants, so.
No, the
yeah.
Greenway grant is and we can apply for 2 different funding streams with the Greenway grant because we're some kind of compact community.
Compact community,
Yeah, so there's actually 3 funding sources. They have a Trails grant that I told Councilman Deegan about for Katie Field, and then there's the compact community, and there's another C. So,
Yeah, there's another one,
Yeah.
yeah.
all right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak?
I would still like to have 3 questions answered. Is it not a conflict of interest to oversee the construction of plans and specs you developed? This is back again to the construction manager that was hired.
Yeah, we're
Former
not doing a
Concord.
question and answer now. This is a
Right, well, I want
comment
to get this
period.
on tape, that I'm concerned about these. This former town councilman, I believe, openly lobbied for this position prior to the ethics law being changed to allow his employment in this capacity. And I would then like to formally request this matter to be referred to the Ethics Board District Attorney and the State Attorney General's Office to ensure compliance of all public bid procurements, and regulations. And then another question I have is with your lawn maintenance property, is that including junk cars?
We're not doing Q&A.
We're not doing Q&A, of course.
Anyone else?
I did just want to mention that the change to the ethics law was in the works for at least a year and had nothing to do with that matter.
Gary Vader, Salt Point Turnpike, Pleasant Valley. Salt Point Turnpike, Pleasant Valley is a drug running road off the Parkway, high-speed road. We were almost involved in a 4-car accident, making a turn into my driveway. I don't know how many people on that travel that road regularly are as worried as I am. My directional was on, coming from the north, going south, below the speed limit. Somebody said I was going too slow, but okay. It's pretty hard to drive into my driveway at 55 miles an hour. I have a stream and a bridge. I would like to hit both of those, or one of those, not the other one. So that road really has, and I understand people need the town, it's a state road. The entire Route 44 is 40 miles an hour. The entire road past Saw Point is 40 miles an hour. It makes no sense. Okay. There was a state audit done which was public knowledge. And they requested the town to put categories on the excess funds that were not categorized. Funds at this time, has anything been done for that as the time limit of their audit is running out?
Why don't we let Mr. Veeder finish, and then if you want to answer anything, you can.
I'm done. Thank you.
We have been working very diligently on all of the fund balances and policies for each one. So shortly you will see quite a few things come before you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak? At this time, I'd like to close the public portion comment of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And-
Supervisor, before we move on,
Sure.
just to make it, there's been some allegations obviously put out in public, so I just want to make it very clear, anybody listening, please go back and watch the 11/18/2024 meeting. Everything we do is videotaped. I did a very nice presentation that lasted a very long time. It was all on the video screen up here. It's all right here. There's a whole page about construction managers. If you go back and watch that, in that slide, I actually talked about how I reached out to 10 companies. And I think I actually reached out to the public at that point, pleading if you know anybody that would be interested in putting in a proposal for that, please do so. That was back on November 18th, 2024. And then you can go reference the meeting minutes in the early December. The same conversation happened. Everything was very transparent. And people could come and talk and come to me and say whatever their feelings were, but nobody brought anybody besides all of this. So the idea that this was done for a particular individual, there's no credibility in that. And yeah, if it wasn't transparent and I didn't do what I did, you might have that argument, but I think it's absurd. I think it's unfortunate that we deal with these things 8 months later, but that's the world we live in, I guess. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And if you feel like there's been an ethics violation, file an ethics complaint. That's what the ethics board's here for. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
And to piggyback on that a little bit, I have to tell you, since I've been on this board, we have been more transparent than anybody, and there should not be any comments like just happened, that anybody should ever say anything about us. We literally have everything out in the open of whatever we do. We have absolutely nothing to hide. We're the first people that have been put up against having to have an audit. We are the first people that have gotten anything done in years and years and years. And we're making our town look nicer. We're moving it forward in a good direction. We have wonderful playgrounds now. Our parks are cleaned up. We have a full-time maintenance groundskeeper who's doing a phenomenal job. And all of this is just very disappointing to hear. But I move on. I'd like a motion to go into executive session for 101.5F personnel.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.
I make a motion that we come out of executive session at 8:50 with no action taken.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.